Page 28, Morning Song. 3/4 time. 1 flat in the key signature. Is it F or D minor? I think you'll find we're in F major pretty much. Rhythm-wise, a bunch of quarter notes, it shouldn't be a problem, but the hands are kind of moving around. We're kind of crawling around like a bug on the keyboard, so that's kind of neat. Right hand first, let's just check notes and rhythms and fingerings. Up here, it has a pickup beat. We're coming in on beat 3. Well, that means there should be a measure somewhere else with just 2 beats in it. So we look around over, is there somewhere? Usually it's the last measure. So the last measure, no, the last measure's got 3 beats in it. I believe that's an error. The last measure, in my opinion, should only be a half note. It should only have 2 beats in it. Because every measure's got to have 3 beats according to the time signature. As far as counting goes, it doesn't matter. They put a fermata on the last measure, so you're going to hold it out longer anyway, but technically I think it should just have 2 beats in it. Anyway, we're coming on beat 3 up here, and it's 3, 1, 2, and then it's crunch up a little bit. It's like a sequence. Crunch up again. Now they want thumb. You can do that if you want, or you can also go down here and just stay there. You're in position. Here, that's fine. I like that better. On measure 5, just reach down and play that with 2nd finger, and that way you're in position. Then on measure 8, when you have this and you lift up, we don't have to do that if you want. We can always, you can play that with thumb. Just bring the thumb under here. That way you're in position to go on. You don't have to, because there's no rest or nothing. Well, you can lift up and move. It's between, but I like to be able to feel my way around a keyboard. So if I can do that, that's one of the reasons when I learn a piece of music, I learn it all legato first. If I can play it legato, I figure it's pretty safe. That doesn't always work, but it works most of the time. Here, and then you do that again. Measure 15, I recommend a 2nd finger. They're saying thumb, but I recommend 2nd finger, because in measure 13, if you finger it like you did before, you're going to use thumb. You're already in position. It's just, all you got to do is reach up with little finger for the F. And then go on with 3rd finger. Now here, the top note's staying where it is, but you're spreading the hand around here. So again, on measure 16 at the end, going into measure 17. Coming down, 2nd finger. Each time it's 2nd finger at the beginning of its measure. For 20 it's 2-1. You can cross over if you'd rather, but I prefer not to cross over the thumb if I don't have to. And then going on, measure 21. That is a B flat, an E flat, and a G. That fingering is okay, although put your hand up here. You can also do a 2, 4, 5, and keep your hand out here. I'll leave that up to you. And then the next chord is a D, an E, and an A. So the E flat goes away. That's only good for that tied note. Now it's an E natural, and then you lift up. Don't forget the B flat, and then we have A's, octave A's, and they're saying on measure 24 on the B flat to measure 25, you're using 5th finger on both, and you can do that because of the articulation. That's just, but again, I like to finger things legato. So if your hand's big enough, just your 4th finger and then reach down, and then 5th finger. Or you can slide off here at first. Now when we add the articulation, you're not going to slide off, but right now it's good to practice. Doesn't hurt. And then on measure 29, or the pickup to measure 29, you just lift up and move. And we have this sequence again. Then measure 33, 2nd finger on the B flat. And then go up. The sequence again. Okay. Left hand. So B flat, that's tied forever, and then an A, and then a G. No big deal. Not a lot going on. Let's go to measure 10. You're up here, and that's tied over for measure 9. And there's 1 and 2 and 3. We actually got eighth notes. Oh. And then going on, cross the thumb under. And then for the C, I recommend a 2 because the next one is an F. See, we're just going on down. Again, I can figure it legato. And then 16, it's tied, and then measure 17. Then you can come up. 5, just lift up. 5, 2, or 1, whichever. And then B flat. I'm just going down. I'm walking my way down. Measure 20. They're saying a 2, 1. I suggest for measures 21 and 22 and all these, for starting with 20, I suggest you just do a 1, just naturally, and then just go on down the scale. 4, and then for the D, like they're showing a thumb, you have to be able to cross that. You got to be able to do that. So just do that. And the third finger on that C here. Now, if big hands don't do that very well, then you have to slide off. You can do that. That's all right. So it's either a 1, 1 or 1, 2 for measure 23 to 24 here. And then that's tied for 4 measures, and then you're coming down here. 5th finger. This is measure 29. And then like we had at the beginning, we're just going to walk our way down the keyboard. 37, is it? 2 voices. Hold down here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So the eighth notes are by themselves. But you just hold the others down. And then at the end, you come down here. I recommend a 3 on the C. And then you can do a together. The F is tied at the end. The last 2 measures, the F is tied. You just play the C. Put the hands together. You're here. Now remember, I'm playing everything legato still. We'll do the phrasing later. Just I'm trying to get notes and fingering worked out. On measure 8, look out. You're here. Lift up from the left hand for the rest, and then come up. Measure 17, both hands are kind of doing something weird, and just real slowly, just work it out. Then we'll measure 20 here, then here. Hold the A down. Both hands up at the same time, and I'll explain that apostrophe in a minute. Just keep going. I don't really want to play it all for you, but you just real slowly just go through, and if you have to go back one hand at a time there on some of those measures and work them out, that's fine. But get it where the beat is steady. It doesn't have to go fast. Then once we have that, we can add in these slurs. You have, just lift up between each slur. Now there's a danger here, because the tendency, you'll want to put the accent on the beginning of the slur, and it'll sound like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've heard piano teachers do that. The natural accent still needs to be there. The natural accent is the first beat of the measure. And that's what we want to hear. 1, 2, 3, 1. So all of these need to sound like a pickup beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Feel that natural accent. Measure 16 going on to measure 17. So here and then lift up. Forth. Now when you get to measure 25, these lift up like the slur, and then both hands come up at the apostrophe, and then you carry on. And then measure 36, you're here. See, measure 38, left hand, those eighth notes are by themselves. So it's and once you have the articulation, then I can add this dynamics, and that's really more for the right hand. Soft. The left hand's very soft. Measure 5, you go up to moderately soft and back down. Soft. Then measure 13, go back up to moderately soft. Back down. And now you're go up a little bit to moderately soft. And then on measure 21, you're going to crescendo up to loud. Don't get loud till measure 24. You see the F? And so take your time, get. There, that's loud. So this coming down planet, you're moderately soft, just up a hair, like a measure or so at a time. A little louder, a little louder. Then you're loud, here. And then the diminuendo and retardando. Retardando, slow down, and that apostrophe is a breath mark. That means it's a pause. It's sort of like a fermata where you're pausing, except it's silence. It's just a pause. Like taking a breath. You don't pause for long. If I play with a metronome, I just add one beat. I'm silent for one beat. I pause for one beat. So it'd be like 1, 2, pause, 3. It's just silence for one. And then odd tempo means you go back to the original speed you were going. Now there's different ways of doing all tempos, of interpreting them. Some cases you just immediately go back to the tempo you were going, however fast it was. So if I play like a measure 27 going on, I'm slowing down here. So I just immediately went right back to the tempo. Another way of interpreting, and you have to experiment, is you don't immediately go back. You start it slow and speed up. You do it rather quickly. Don't take a long time to speed up. But it's so again, the measure 27, you're here. Pause, and then so I take two, 3 notes there to speed back. It's like I take off again. Different ways of interpreting it. Experiment. Sometimes you use one and the other and whatever. It's up to you or your teacher if you have one. And then you're soft here. And then you're going to crescendo and decrescendo and stay soft. And basically you stay soft. And at the end you can crescendo up to a moderately soft. This is 41. 41. And there's your retardando here. You slow down too. I want to hear the A, not the C. Keep the C very soft. And that's a fermata. Hang on to that for a while. When I do this with a metronome, I'll just double that A and hold it for 6 counts instead of 3. Speed-wise, 152, it needs to flow. It's a very smooth piece. Well, it's in the morning. We don't want to shock the system yet. I'm guessing it's about the speed I've been playing. So just... about that speed. If that's too fast for you, then take it slower. It has to be your smoothly, not mine. Then they've added pedal. Well, I like it fine without pedal. I can hear all the phrasing and all these things. The pedal's going to cover that up. Although you still do it with the technique, because you feel it, whether you can hear it or not. You want to feel the phrases. That's okay. So the pedal, it's going to be overlapping pedal, but you're not pedaling everything. You see at the bottom on page 28, or about measure 17, it says senza ped. Senza means without. And that simply means don't pedal this part. And then when you get over to measure 25, you start pedaling again. And okay, so just pedal it the way they're telling you to pedal. On measure 31, you'll see a sim by the pedal. That simply means simile. That means keep doing what you were doing. And since it's by the pedal indication, that's what it's referring to, because simile could refer to anything. It depends on where it is in the music. So here it's by the pedal, so you're going to keep pedaling it. It looks like they're changing it every measure. So we just keep legato pedaling, changing every measure. So it's overlapping pedal. The hands do their thing and then the pedal. However, on measure 8, I'd like to hear that. So maybe I won't pedal that pickup beat. I didn't pedal it at the beginning, so I could get away with doing it here too. I just lift it up with that, pedal up with the half note together, and don't pedal again till the next measure. On measure 15 and 16, they want you to run all that together. I don't care for that. I'm going to change the pedal on 16. Here, clean that out, and then lift it up with the hands before you play the third beat. Here, and then no pedal. And that A is tied, and then you pedal. And they're showing keep the pedal down. I disagree. On measure 28, lift the pedal up on beat for the breath mark. Lift it up so we actually get silence. I'd like to hear some silence here. And then don't pedal the pickup beat like we've done before. So to demonstrate from measure 25. And again, on measure 36, I lift it up with a half note and don't pedal the third beat. And at the end, the pedal and the hands come out. That's my suggestions on the pedaling. A lot of times in these books, they keep the pedaling simple for you because you got enough to think about. It's just I'm concerned with what you get used to hearing. If you get used to hearing a mediocre pedaling and a mediocre and this blah, blah, bland, that becomes your normal. That's, oh yeah, that sounds fine. It doesn't sound fine. It sounds yuck, but that's what you become accustomed to. So I'm hoping you be very critical on what you're hearing. I mean, it'd be nice to hear the phrasing. But to do that, you got to lift the pedal up with the right hand each time. That's just another way of interpreting it. You see, the pedal indications given are, for the most part, suggestions. Anything I tell you is a suggestion. Ultimately, it's what you like to hear, and you can experiment with the different sounds you're getting here. That's why so many different people can play the same piece of music, and it sounds different because they interpret it different. And I think that's great. Yeah. It'd get boring if everybody played everything the same. play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm going to leave out the pedaling because that messes things up and you can hear the notes better if I don't pedal it. So I'll give us 2 counts because we come in on beat 3. Let's just play it together very slowly to double check the notes. You do it one hand at a time if you need to. Ready, go. Pause. Hold, 2, 3.